on Tuesday, we already learned about this multiple choice test grading. Okay, you already know one row represents one student, and then the column represents the problem that the student solved. So if the solution from the student 0 is A, so we want to compare with a key. So if it is the same, then okay, this is correct. Okay. If it is the same, then it is correct. If it is not the same, then it is incorrect. Okay. And we will check for every of these items until all the students. So you already know the code that we learned on Tuesday. Now let's look at other problems. So in industrial engineering, I think we will do many things about this, and you will learn more about this kind of problems in your second year or in the third year. We want to find 2 points nearest to each other. So let's say I have a place or one location. Let's say this is location 0. So the location 0 is located at x equal to -1, and then the y equals to 3. So yeah, this one, -1 and 3. The location 1 is located at -1 and -1. So this is the location of index 1, and so on. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 locations. We want to find 2 points nearest to each other. So I want to know if I'm now in this location. So what is the nearest point? Okay, the nearest point, you can measure every of this point, and then we have one value. After we have one value, we will try to find the minimum. So you can look at those 2 files, nearest point.py and find nearest point. So we have find nearest point, and then we have nearest point. So let me explain from the nearest point. This is a function to compute the distance. Okay, by looking at this one, can you understand? X1, X2, Y1, Y2. So the solution will be x2 minus x1 multiplied by x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1 multiplied by y2 minus y1, and we have power 0, y1. Then if we create the formula, this will be x2 minus x1 because we have multiplied, then this is power of 2. Because x2 minus x1 multiplied by x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1. This is also square. And the last one, we do the exponent with power 0.5. We do with power 0.5. You know what is power 0.5? It is the same with the square. Okay. So let's see if we do this one. Okay, let me use this one. 2 exponent 2. What is the result? Two exponent 2 is 4. Okay. So 3 exponent 2, it is 9. Okay. So this is the same with the 3 power of 2. Okay. If I have 4 power of 0.5, then this is the square root. The square root of 4. And the result is 2. Okay. So in this formula, we have what we call as Euclidean distance, or sometimes we can just call it as norm distance. We will call this nearest point function, and we have points. So what is this point? If you look at this one, okay, points is two-dimensional array. So this two-dimensional array means this is one row, and then this is the x of the location at index 0, and then this is the y at the location at index 0. Then I can say, for example, this is P. So I have P at index 0 and P at index 0. Then the result is minus 1. If I have P at index 0 and 1, then the result is 3. Okay. And so on. So I want to know the distance between 2 points. So this point means the multi-dimensional array or two-dimensional array. Now we will just put the value P1 and P2 as 0 for P1 and 1 for P2. The shortest distance, okay, so first let's try to figure out the shortest distance by the initial value. So the initial value, let's just use the P index 0 and P index 1. Then I can calculate the distance from points P10 points P1, 1, points P2, 0, and points P2, 1. What does it mean? This one, what is P1? P1 is 0. Then the initial points, I would like to know if it is the point at index 0 and index 0. Okay, so P1 is 0, then it is 0. What is this one? We have point at index 0, and this one is index 1. It means I want to know what is the value of x for location 0 and what is the value of y at location 0. The second one is P2, 0, P2, 1. And in this case, we have the point index 1 because P2 is 1. And then we have this is 0. And we have point 1 and index 1. Then this is the x of location index 1, and this is the y of location index 1. This is the initial value. It means I want to know the distance between 0 and 1. This is just for initial value. This initial value, later we will use it to find the minimum. After we have the shortest distance for the initial value, then let's compute the distance for every 2 points. It means I would like to calculate between location 0 and 1. And then I will calculate between 0 and 2. I will calculate between 0 and 3. I will calculate between 0 and 4. And after I finish with every point not 0, then I will continue the distance between 1 and 0. The distance between 1 and 2. Yeah, you can try to measure 0 and 0, but if you measure 0 and 0, the result will be 0. So you can also measure 1 and 1, the result will be 0. 1 and 2, 1 and 3, and so on. So this pattern, it is a for loop, and there is another for. So a for inside for. So you can see this is a for loop inside another for loop. I would like to go from 0 until the length of the points, and then I would like to measure from I plus 1 until length points. So if you still remember, Seoul to Daegu is 237. What is the distance between Daegu and Seoul? It's the same. Okay. Seoul to Busan is 320. What is the distance between Busan and Seoul? It's the same. Then, if I want to calculate the distance, I do not need to run all the data. I just need half. maybe I can use this one, or I can just use another half, this one. So you already learned from the chapter repetition or loops, okay, how we can make this triangle, how we can make this triangle. So that's the reason you learn about the triangle in the repetition. After we know that, okay, we want to calculate the distance only one time. We don't need to calculate every of those distance. Then we will do from I plus 1. So if it is 0, then I will calculate, let's say we have 4 points. So 0 and 0, but it is not 0 and 0 because it starts from I plus 1. So it is 0 and 1, 0 and 2, 0 and 3. And then after that, I will do the next loop. I will go to the next, which is 1. And then 1 will be compared with I plus 1. So I is 1, then it is 2, and then 1 and 3. And then go to the next, which is 2. So we will compare 2 and 3. Okay, then finish. We will calculate the distance. So the distance will be the distance from I and the location J. So the idea is the same with this one. And then after I have the distance, let's compare with the shortest distance from the initial value. If the distance here is higher than the D, so it means, yeah, if now the value is smaller than the shortest distance, of course, we will choose D. What is D? D is the distance from this point. So we will select the P1 and P2. P1 is the I and P2 is the J. And now the shortest distance will be D. Okay, so this is the function in the nearest point. Now I would like to teach you using a function, main function, but I will not put all the codes in the same file. Because if I put in the same file, there will be so long. So I can separate the file. And as we know, the name of the file is nearest point. The file name nearest points will be called here. So the import nearest point means I would like to call this file name. Nearest point is the nearest point .py. And then I would like to run, this is a function main, and I have main here to call this function. Now let's look at the code. Number of points. We will ask the user to input how many points the user wants. After we have the point, okay, then we need to input every of the points. So the points will start with the empty list, and then we will input the number of points with the for loop. So you know here points equals 2 multiplied by 0. What does it mean? Yeah, I think there are many students who did mistakes on this problem on the exam. Print 2 multiplied by least 0. The result is 0, 0. So I have two kind of 0 in the list. If I have 1, then it is 1, 1. It means I want to have two elements of value 1 in the list. So if you have 5 multiplied by 1, then the result is I have a list and the value is 1 for 5 times. Okay. So yeah, in mid exam there are some students who make mistake about this one. Okay. Then in this case, I would like to make 2 of 0. Then I will make like this. So the point at the index 0, so it means this one, I would like to update with this input. So enter coordinates separated by a comma. So if it is separated by comma, let's say I put 3, 5, then 3 will be the x and then 5 will be the y. And then after that, I will do append. Append means I would like to insert this point into the array points. So we learned already how to input the matrix. Okay. We learn this one. Okay, so in this case, you input 1 by 1 for every index, but in this code, we input a list. After I know all the numbers in points, I will do the next, which is to find the nearest point. So we call the nearest point. What is this nearest point? This is the file name that you created. This is the file name nearest point.py. And inside the nearest point, there is a function nearest point. Okay. So if you click this one, and then if you press Control, okay, if you have your mouse, you can press Control. So when you click, then you will go to the function nearest points. And this is the function in the nearest point.py. The input is points. What is points? Point is the multi-dimensional list or two-dimensional list that we have input. And the result from this one will be P1 and P2. So these are the index where the shortest distance. So we have P1 and P2, which is the shortest among the points. So the closest two points are the point 1, 0, 0.11, and p to 0 and p to 1. So let me run this one. Let's just make 2 points. Enter 2 points. Enter the coordinates separated by comma. Let's say I have -1 and 3, -1 and -1. -1, comma 3, and then -1, comma -1. Okay, because we have only 2 points, the result will be just this one. Now let me have 3 points. -1 and 3, -1 and -1, 1 and 1. So let's see, I have 3 points, -1, comma 3, and then -1, comma -1, and then 1, oops, sorry. If you input wrong, then it will be errors. So you need to put correct. Or you can have another input. So it is 3, and then -1, comma 3, -1, comma -1, and then 1, comma 1. So the closest 2 points are -1, comma 3, and 1, comma 1. Okay. So this is the result from this code. Yeah, this is just an addition, how we can append, how we can extend, and how we can do reverse. Okay. You already know from the chapter on list before the mid exam, we learn about append. Append means it is to add some data into the list. So we want to add an element, and this addition will be at the end of the list. So you know, if we use the, let's say I have a list and then I want to append 1. Then if I want to print the list, the result is 1. How about if I have a multi-dimensional list? I have a multi-dimensional list, which is A. So we have a list, we have another list, we have another list, and I want to append this list. The result will be this list will be inserted at the end of the list of A. We know that append is to add one element. So we consider this is one element for this list. That's why it is possible to append into the last element of this list. What about extend? We learn about extends. We want to add the elements of a list or any iterable. Iterable means you want to add more than one element into a list. And we will add it to the end of the current list. So for example, I have this the same with the previous one. I have a list 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and this is a list inside a list. We have 2-dimensional list. We have a list and we have another list. Now I'm going to extend the A index 0. What is A index 0? A index 0 is the first one. Okay. What does it mean by extend? We are going to put this list into this list. So, if you still remember, I have LST2, let's say, and then I have 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I can do LST dot extend LST2. So if I extend the LST2, which is 2, 3, 4, it is automatically inserted into the list for all the elements, which is 2, 3, and 4. If I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, okay, the original value is this one. So when I extend it, then it will extend with the new list, which is 12, 14, 16, and 18. So the original value is this one. And then we will add this into the A at index 0. So yeah, this is extend. We want to expand one list. We can also do extend just similar to the append. So I want to extend the list of A. So the data is still the same, like this one. And I want to put this list. Then what is the result? We will add only numbers. Okay. So you can look at the different way of extend. If you extend A, then we will only put those numbers, not a list. Okay, so that's the difference between the append and extend. Because in extends, we consider this is a kind of elements 12, 14, 16, and 18. Then the result will be just adding those elements into the list of A. Sorry, this one is not correct. So it should be like this one. Okay, it should be like this one without the square bracket. And if I want to reverse, so I want to reverse only on a particular location. So I'm going to reverse the array or the list at the index 2. So this is index 0, this is index 1, and this is index 2. So in the index 2, I'm going to reverse. We know reverse is to change the position or change the order. We will do from 20, 16, 12, 8, and 4. So we can do this function. So the last value or the last array, we have 20, 16, 12, 8, and 4. So we reverse only this part, and the other value are still the same. Okay. We can modify the list. So in order to modify, you need to figure out what is the location that you want to modify. For example, I have this list, okay, And then I want to modify the list at the index 0. So the index 0 is this one. I want to modify this list with the new list, this one. Then the original value, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, now it has been changed with the new value that we mentioned in this table. Okay. So some application of the two-dimensional list. If we have only two dimension, row and column, then yeah, we call this is two-dimensional list. But we can also have multi-dimensional list. Multi-dimensional list means more than two. Okay. Let's see this one. I would like to do the exam evaluation. So the exam 1, okay, as you know, the row is the student. So in the exam 1, there are two types. The first type is theory, and the second type is practical. So the exam 2 is also the same. We have theory and practical. In the exam 3, we have also theory and practical. So how we can put this into this? Then we can mention this one as a variable scores. We can make a list, and then for the row, it is one list, and inside the list, we have another list. This is one list for the exam 1. This is a list for exam 2, and this is a list for exam 3. And we can try to represent, for example, scores 0, 0, 0. What does it mean? The first 0 represent which student. The second 0 means which exam. And the third 0 means which exam type. Then if it is 0, 0, and 0, so this result is 9.5. What about scores 2, 2, 1? Then this is the student index 2, student index 2, and then this is the exam index 2. Student index 2 is this one, because this is index 0, this is index 1, this is index 2, and then 1. So this is the exam type. This is index 0, this is index 1. Then the result will be this one, 33 point. Okay. So the idea of this array or this list, you can use also for image. So when you go to the next year, next year, if you want to apply some deep learning techniques, so the idea is using this two-dimensional list. For example, I want to know about this image. So this image will be in the grayscale image. 255 means the color is white. 0 means the color is black. Then yeah, it is 0. Okay, this is black. 236, so it is more to white. So this is 0. We can see here it is black, and so on. We can also do with the transaction. I think some of you will do the team project for kiosks. Okay. So you can apply this one with the multi-dimensionalist or two-dimensionalist. For example, the customer one. Okay. So if you have your then let's say you have ice cream, snack, beverages, and cookies. So you can look at the customer one, he buy one ice cream and zero snack, zero beverage, and zero cookies. The customer two bought zero ice cream, one snack, zero beverage, and zero cookies, and so on. Now I have another array or another list, which is price. The price is 1,500 for ice cream, 2,500 for snack, 1,250 for beverage, and 2,000 for cookies. Then can you calculate how many income that you get from those customers? Okay, so we can do with the multi-dimensional list. Okay. So I give this solution. Yeah, you can try. Maybe because of the space. Okay, maybe this is because of the space. We need to figure out the why. Yeah, it happens sometimes. Okay, when you do with the group, there's a problem with the type and space. Okay, anyway, you can use this code to do the transaction. So we learn everything about the multi-dimensionalists. So next week we will learn another chapter. Okay, please try to review this one because it will be very important for the next section. Okay, thank you very much for your attendance. We will meet again next week. So,